Just a quick warning, this intro is really long. It's about 8 minutes. You might want to get through it quickly by fast forwarding. I'd like you to watch it. But anyway, you might notice I've got a new mug here and it's got a doorknob on it. And my daughter bought it for me because she thinks I'm a knob. Anyway, hope you enjoy. G'day and welcome to part 38 on the XC restoration. Now in this one, I beg your pardon, part 39. Thanks. Welcome to part 39 on the XC restorations. A few things I want to mention. First, after this, we go and we visit Matt from the Ford Forum. He's got an absolutely beautiful ZH Fairlane that was his father's as well. And there's a few of us that still have our parents' cars. And of course, we have a bit of a chat about that. Matt was good enough to donate a front, GXL front or a Fairmont front for the XC build. So thanks very much, Matt, when you see this. John Parnas is another guy that I never thanked. And of course, I put these names in the credits as well. And John Parnas is a friend of mine. Who's the president of the Wolsey Car Club, and he has an absolutely gorgeous car as well. And he donated some wiper arms and blades and a few screen trims and that sort of stuff too. So John, if you see this, thanks very much as well. Now, I've got a little list there. I'm sort of, I can't remember anything, so I'm sort of looking at this. Live feed. Let's talk about live feed just for a few minutes. Just want to mention it. Now, I've been sort of flirting with the idea of doing it for a while, and I've never got around to doing it. The reason for that was because I didn't want to get stuck sort of there by myself and looking a bit stupid. I've been watching Big Clive, and he has something like 360,000 subscribers, and he had several hundred there, and his questions are scrolling over. A couple of people trolled him. They were asking me if he's gay and all this sort of crap. I don't care if anyone asks me that. I'm going to get trolled anyway because of the sort of person I am and the friends I've got. They always sort of throw a bit of crap at me. Right, so a couple of things happened with that. I bought a camera. Well, first of all, I've been watching Big Clive, then I was watching that Tennessee kid. What's his name? I can't remember his name. Dylan McCool. He has about 55,000 subs and he had about 50 people there. And Dizzy 1969 is another one. He does it quite frequently. So I was tipping that you got something like one person show up per 1,000 subscribers you've got. So I've got 13,000. I tipped about 13 to rock up. And that's just like talking to a dozen people or so. That's all good. I was ready for that, and I was absolutely knocked off my socks. It was 110, somebody said. People were there, which I reckon is great. So thank you very, very much for those who came and participated in that. I need to speak slower and enunciate better because I mumble, and I know about that. Several people have said that, so I'll try to keep that in mind, even though I've started mumbling again. So anyway, look, I'll try and keep track of that. So I sorted out the camera issue. The camera kept zooming up and then coming back and zooming out. So my head's doing this, and then it would, fill my elbow or my shoulder or whatever. It was a pain in the neck. That was just a box I needed to uncheck, and so it's all good now. So as far as live feeds are concerned, I might do one in a couple of months or something. So just write in the comments what you reckon. If you want another one sooner than later, then we can do that. They're really good. That sort of thing's good to maintain touch with people that support. While things like this bonnet's going on and this door's going on, it's slow going stuff, so there's a limit to what content you can do. While I'm on the subject of doors, I ran into a lovely bloke in Bunnings and I couldn't speak to him because I was talking to an ex-student, and there was some family stuff we were talking about, and I'd like to have spoken to him. I think he's a body guy or something, I don't know. He said it wasn't hard to take the skin off the door, and I've heard that a couple of times. I've kind of done stuff like it, sort of peeling the lip back, if you know what I mean, to replace metal underneath, but I haven't actually taken the skin off. I'd be more comfortable taking a boot lid, or probably not a boot lid, but say a front door off because they're squarer, whereas this one's got that big radius on the inside, and I think it could look really crap if you weren't careful. So that's why I'm a bit gun shy about it. If I find another cheap one that's in better nick, I'll just grab it. I want to move forward with this thing, which brings me to the next thing. Have I got everything I want to say there? Yep, I think so. The XC. I'm hanging to get into this more, and I've lagged. And the reason was with the XW, I only had that project going on, so I could just bang through it quickly. And I had a deadline, which was my father's birthday, and we sort of don't celebrate the anniversary of his death, but that was all in November, sort of 1985, and so I wanted that 30-year thing. The XC, I kept changing my mind and I got bored with it, and I got bored because I didn't know what to do. So in terms of the interior stuff, I didn't know what colour, I didn't know what fabric. I was having trouble finding the right sort of fabric for it. bits and pieces like the shell, which looked so good and rust free, had so much damage from the previous owner. Sourcing parts, I thought it would be so much easier than the XW and XY stuff, but there's so much more reproduction kit available for them. They're a much easier car to do. These things are harder because you're up against those sort of stupid sellers that think they can charge an arm and a leg for stuff, and so you have a lot of downtime while you're looking for the right part for the right price, that sort of stuff. So you can blow it, a build out like that to thousands. I'm on 20 grand, 21 grand. I'm tipping it's going to be 26 or so finished. I'm not going above that. So what that means is I'll do the same thing as what I did on the XW, where you'll have, say, like with the XW, the front bumper was unusable, so I got it redone, where the back one was all right and presentable, so I used the old one, and I didn't polish the stainless and do that sort of stuff. I could have blown out another few grand on the XW, but I decided not to when I got to a figure, and it's going to be the same with this too. I think the car's worth 25, 26 grand finished. Probably worth a bit more, I don't know. We'll put that down to pocket money if I ever sell it, but I'm not going above that in terms of part costs. So what that means is now we're at the end of the end of autumn, kind of approaching the end of autumn. We've got hang on, what is it now? No, we've got another month of autumn. Sorry, we've got another month of autumn. Today was 18 degrees and full sun, 18 Celsius, so it was absolutely perfect for doing this bonnet. I've been slow. Another reason, was because I've done my back. I've hurt my back, so I've got the kids coming out, pushing cars out with me, helping me lift this bonnet, turn it around, do the bottom, turn it around, do the top, this sort of stuff. I've got it now all in high fill, and it's pretty good. I've just got to iron out the ridge at the top where the dent was. It's a little bit sharp. I've got to feather it in so it matches the rest of it, and then we can paint it. And I want to get it painted and on the car. So through winter, we're not going to have these panels on this side, but then I can start doing brakes, that sort of stuff. I haven't done them yet. I haven't rebuilt the calipers. There's all sorts of little bits and pieces like that that I can do, so that come spring, it's drivable. I've just got to get a tail shaft and we can drive it, basically. So that's all good. Now, the other thing I've got to do is I've got to start on the 750. I need to put the pistons in, or hydro blast the barrel and cylinder head, rebuild the cylinder head, put the pistons in, and then I want to bench start it and run it. The reason for that is because it's such a pig to get in and out of the frame. You want to make sure it's like a car engine, you've got to get it running before you put it in. Otherwise, you have to take it out again. It's just a hassle. Then, of course, I can build the bike up. Got a fuel tank coming. Rare as rocking horse poo in this neck of the woods, because they only made that model for 1 year in Australia. You never see those tanks. Most of the tanks you see are for F models, not K models. So, of course, there's one on the way, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say where it's coming from. I'll check and advise in due course. So, absolutely chomping at the bit to get the XC done now. I'm really enthusiastic about it, which is cool. And, of course, once that's done, I'll hammer into the Plymouth. And then, of course, there's an XD engine, a 351 to build, which I've already, done a couple of engine rebuilds on this channel. And the MG, recorder, all this goes on and on. Old cars are never, ever finished. So look, I've talked for long enough, because that's all I do, is talk. And thank you again for all your support with the live feed. Thank you so much. There's another guy that's offered me some parts. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's just so well appreciated, and I don't know how to articulate it any more than that. So I hope you enjoy. That's platinum blue, right?
Yeah.
Platinum or platinum blue? I can't remember.
Well, this is the discussion, right? Everyone says is it blue or green?
It's platinum. I had blue steel. I didn't see what blue steel.
Yes.
That's a cracker, isn't it? What happened to the door?
So that was an incident while I was at my brother's place.
Oh, that's not good.
So it was sitting in an outside lean-to and in a cow paddock.
And then it
got knocked into, which is a shame. It's about the most serious piece of body damage on it.
Yeah. Can they, blending that might be hard though. How long ago was it painted?
96.
Oh, geez, got a shifter in it. Can I open the door?
Yeah, go for it. So this is most of what the old man did to it.
I've got an XC dash.
96, so it's got a GXL dash in it.
So he must have rewired it like I had to do with mine.
I still remember the frustration of him getting that dash wired up, because the plugs are the same, but the pins are different.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I fried a thing, and the New Zealand fella sent me one.
Yeah.
He gave me a replacement.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he put the bench in it.
Yeah. Some of them had a bench.
And got it retrimmed and left the headrests off, which gives it an awesome open feel.
Yeah. I've got Ew. Oh no, they're power window ones. I was going to say I could have set them immaculate door cards for this, which I was using on mine, and I was going to get mine recovered, so I could get yours recovered and give you some really immaculate ones if you wanted. But the only problem is, it's power window.
Are they?
Yeah, what a bummer. And everything is immaculate on them.
I've been thinking about putting power windows in it.
Have you?
I don't know why.
Because Jason, it seems a waste to pull mine apart looking at yours. Because I could give them to you and take yours and get him to redo mine. We get him to redo those because they're knackered.
Well, they're just the originals.
Well, they're not knackered. That's probably a bit harsh, isn't it? Do you know what? These are getting thin on the ground. And because a lot of people...
ZHs are getting raided for all the good bits.
That's right. So did ZFs and Gs. People were taking drive lines out of them. Every second XC 351s start off in the Fairlane. Mine's out of an LTD. Like I bought mine just as a block.
351 FMX 9
This car has
9-inch with discs. Is,
oh right, yeah.
It's a 500, right?
Yeah. What was the other one? Marquee.
Yeah.
A friend of mine had a Marquee years ago. It's got B45s on it, has it?
Well, technically they're B90s, aren't they?
I don't know.
That centre style.
The only one I know is B45. They look a bit
which
like
is
that.
the
But...
5 spokes,
Oh, okay.
like the performance loads, right?
Can I lift this?
Go for it. I think it's on the first clip.
Oh, lovely. See, this is what I need to look at. Say how these things, where they go.
Yeah.
Because I haven't put mine on yet.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the 351?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got that box down there. I thought
Yeah.
some of them...
So it's got the Bosch electronic.
Yeah. Some of them had. Someone told me that the last of the 302s had it as well, but I didn't think they did.
Don't know.
And you got AU fans. Is that what they are?
So they're EL thermos.
Oh, right.
So I put those on because I remember the one thing this always used to do was overheat.
Got too warm, did it? It's in good nick, isn't
So
it?
they just get too warm.
Yeah.
So I put the thermos on it because I didn't really want to change the full radiator over,
Yeah.
and put an extra transmission cooler on
Yeah.
it.
Gee, it's clean. Right, well, I've hurt my back, which is a real pain. I've been taking this paint off here, and it just sort of peels off with the scrape. You can see where the scrapers left marks. There's no actual scrapes in it. It's just all like a lead pencil type mark. This is far too easy to get off, but difficult sort of at the same time, if you know what I mean. So there's just that corner. But I can't paint over that because if I try, it's only going to peel. It's going to lift. Looks like it's stuck down. A scraper is all you need, and rip, she just comes straight off. Now the funny thing is, it's got a funny pattern in it, like it's been galvanised. The top didn't look like that, so it's obviously not been galvanised as such, but it might have been that galvanised paint or something, I don't know. But maybe that's got something to do with the adhesion issues that we've had. But whatever the coating is, it's done really, really well for it. I mean, this is an absolutely mint bonnet, but it's proved to be a bit of a pain at the moment. And of course, now with my back, it's going to set me further behind. Having said that, it would have been painted and finished by now, had it not been for that. But it's just one of those things you've got to press on with. But I really want to get this painted before the winter. Right, now this is from Matt. This is a Fairmont XC grill. It's got the headlights in there. They're in dire need of reconditioning, which is great. That's not a problem at all. I really couldn't care less. This is a pretty good grill. This is from a Fairmont, as I've mentioned. The thing I like about it, or the thing I'm so grateful about, is it's got all these fasteners. Now, I thought these used a bucket, and they don't. You can see the adjusters there. The way it's fastened to the grill and the type of fasteners it uses. I'll have some of those that have been plated. But this is invaluable to me. He has done me an incredible turn because I now know exactly what I'm doing in terms of mounting this in the car. Now, as we know, Fairmont uses a silver grill. And it's not a stark silver, it's sort of a darker silver, but you can see there, that's what it is. This is the one I got from, I can't remember where I got that from. This is black, of course. It's meant to look like a GXL one, which it probably is now. I know someone might have painted it, but I thought in those sort of top areas there, the surrounds, I thought they were originally silver, and I saw one on the forum that somebody had painted silver, and quite a stark silver, and I didn't think, well, it wasn't the look I was sort of chasing. With the XW, I wanted to stay away from black on the grill, and I did that, and the light's not terribly good there. I did that in my own mix of silver, which is sort of darker than an Argent silver. I mixed it myself. It's almost teetering on gunmetal, but if I end up doing that on that grill, it might look pretty good. I don't know. We'll just suck it and see, I guess. Now the funny thing about this stuff is you can see how easily it comes off. Now it hasn't been, where is it? See, it scrapes. Some of it's very easy to get off and some of it's more difficult. Now it hasn't bubbled or anything. Like this blue's all, it's all good in a way. But it looks like a galvanised coating now. I thought maybe it'd been dipped, but it hasn't because the other side hasn't got the stuff on it. It does lift off with thinner. I lifted some off over there, I'll show you in a minute. And the funny thing is, when you shine a torch in sort of these areas here, it's all under the skin, all over the place. From what I can see, it looks like it's underneath here too, so it's probable that the skin has been renewed and they've painted underneath the frame with this stuff, put the skin on, then just, or paint under the skin and the frame, and then sort of put it all together. The issue with it is, though, is the adhesion's rubbish. And so what I'm going to do, it could have been the reason that the thing hasn't rusted. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it off with thinner and then etch it. But that means that the all important bits that do rust under here, under the front and so forth, will still have some protection with it. It's very, very soft to touch. It feels like Teflon compared to bare metal. So it's been doing a pretty good job, but there's not much point in to paint my stick to it properly. So it'll still be under here, it'll still be under there, but this part that you can see will be painted. So I think it'll be the best of both worlds then. So I'm just going to keep going. It's horrendous in that it comes off, you can see there, but it's just wreaking havoc with the adhesion. And so that's why I wasn't prepared to leave it down. So it's just a matter of keeping doing it. Look, ideally, perhaps the bonnet should have been dipped. But I don't like the idea that you can't flush away any sort of acidic dipping solution from all those intricate corners and so forth, and which would also play havoc with all the sealer and the glue and so forth that sort of holds it against there so it doesn't sort of ring. But it's the only way I can come across, or the only way I reckon it's viable to do it. I mean, unless I had a media blaster, but I didn't really want to. What you see now, in terms of the whole bonnet's bare, except this corner here, has taken about just under 4 hours, I would think. So to get it all stripped, it's about an hour. So 5 hours, if you like, to get it all sort of down to this stuff, and that does wipe off with thinner. Well, it's got all that paint off, all that fake gal. There's just a couple of little sort of bits like this. Rosie's been helping.
Hey.
She's been doing a lot of this. A bit of road rage out there. I don't know. So we're nearly ready to stick it in a bit of etch, and now you're mucking around, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's all good. So I've got this etched and primed. Worst part is there's little bits of muck in the primer that's been from inside the frame. I tried to blow it out, and some of it still found its way out when I was priming. So there's a piece there too. So it's a pain. Shouldn't be too hard to fix. So it's still wet. Once it dries, we'll put it away and pack up for the day. I think it's getting a bit late. Right, well the bonnet looks absolutely lovely from underneath. Got to touch up a few things. One of them's this, and you don't see it unless the light's on. You can see there, just in this area here, you can see my hands have got house paint all over them at the moment. But that is that a bit of it? There we go. That is so dodgy. Now, this thing's been stripped back to bare metal, and I did it by hand, but obviously missed a bit. So it just means getting that off. I can't feel it now. Because normally when you see things like that, it's on an engine. And I always think it's really, really dodgy. If you can see paint put on top of old peeled paint, it's a terrible look. So I need to get all that off and then sand it back. It's in that corner there. I need to get all that off. I'll go and get a proper thing. I've got the right tool with me. But it's, yeah, we don't want anything like that. It needs to look right. So we need to get that off, fix that. There's one or two little, no, it's just mark, yeah, a little bit there. It's not paint, it's just a bit of debris that's fallen out from underneath the shell, underneath the frame. There was lots of, it looked like snail debris. A few little rough bits. So it's just a matter of just running over it, even a bit of 400, just 320, something like that. Just take the tops off any of the rough bits. There's only a few of them. But otherwise, it isn't looking too bad.
It doesn't feel 23.
It feels warm. You got that side. You're cold. You might be getting sick.
No!
Okay. Okay, now what I want you to do is pick it up.
Yeah, just tell me where
Okay,
we're going.
what we're going to do is I want to see if you're comfortable lifting it high. Because what I'm going to do is
I
going to
think
lift
I
it.
could do that, but not that.
I need you to put your thumbs on top because you might have to tilt it.
No, I get that. I just can't.
What I'm going to do, I'm going to go backwards, right? And you're going to just come across here, right? And then we're going to lean it, rest it on those. Once it's resting, I can put it on. Are you cool with that?
Well, we'll find out.
If you're going to drop it, tell me.
I'm not going to drop it on purpose.
All right, just go under the lip.
Like
Yep, that's it. You can pick it up. You can do what you want. Like, you know what I mean. Put your fingers all over it. Are you right?
Yep.
Tell me when you're not.
I'm good.
Are you fine?
Stop asking for fun.
All you got to do is walk over to where that front wheel is, and I'll do the rest. Okay, now let it go onto. That's it. Great. Okay, let go. Can you come around the front? Hold on to the top of it like that. Are you right to do that? Okay. And the pain will be over in a moment. Like an engine. Alright. Just stay there. Are you alright? I think they did so well with it because but the song that they wrote for the movie was a bloody good song.
All the songs were.
But they're actually, song-wise,
Yeah.
a really good song.
Yeah.
The Cora one was really good. And she had the perfect voice, and she's an actress, she's not a singer.
Yeah.
You know, Moulin Rouge, I never liked Nicole Kidman singing. Because
She was alright.
One Day
but
I'll
not-
Fly Away is a beautiful song, very hard to sing. Well, it's a bit weird putting a bonnet on without guards and so forth, but I just wanted to get it out of the way. Oh, the noise. I might lubricate those hinges, they seem a bit stiff. I needed to get it done by me before we get to winter. There's a few odds and ends we can stick on in terms of the latch. That gets that out of the way. Which way does that go? That goes this way. No, it doesn't. That must be the wrong latch. Hang on, where's this go? Doesn't fit. Is that the wrong latch? I can't remember how these go. I just don't know. That could be the wrong latch. And the little bonnet dick that goes on there. If it closes with this on, we're in a bit of strife because I might be able to get it open. We'll just have a look. But that just screws in to there. And that locks against the boot, or the bonnet, I should say. And it's just more stuff out of the way, you know what I mean? And I'll get some parts out now and I'll show you what we've got to do next. But this will just screw in here and look really nice. So we can go ahead and do that. There's a few dull spots in the bonnet where I've sanded some little lumps in the paint. And I was really cross about that. but it doesn't matter because it's going to buff out really well. Let's do that. And I'll just do it loosely, just like that. And it doesn't matter, that'll hold. As long as it doesn't shut on me. It's in the right spot. Anyway, cool. I've got to wait until I get back from the plater. But I'm just going to put this here too because I don't want it to scratch. There's a couple of little... I was really annoyed because I've never had problems with muck getting in paint. And it has to get into the paint on the thing which everyone notices, the bottom. That's off Jason's XB. It's pour 15 on the bottom. It was a manky looking thing and I've just painted the top. It's just... Normally you would put a corking sealer underneath it, like domestic, which I always use. Once the wiper mechanism's in, I'm just going to sort of loosely put it in position until I get those back. And I don't think the wiper stuff's going to come back for a couple of weeks. I haven't sent it away yet. I can just sit there like that. That's cool. Followed by the scuttle. And this is another thing that suffered with crap getting in the paint. I did it last night, and I've got to say I did a really crap job. So that will just sit on top like that, and I'll just stick a couple of screws in there just to hold that for now. It's not doing anything. It can just sit there. Most of this is all going to get buffed out, colour sanded and buffed out in the spring. But when I look at a car, and I always said this before, I always look through here at the wiper mechanism. So I'm going to get that electroplated. I want it to look good. So one of the problems with car resto stuff, particularly in a small confine like this, is mess. Basically, and you're always tidying up. You're always trying to do something. And in my sort of tidying up and finding bits and pieces, I found these two things. They're for the bonnet cable onto the locking sort of plate, if you like, and that's got to go on. So I can put that on now. But it's just going through everything, and there's bits of fuel line here which I haven't put in yet. One of them had, this one here was ruptured, I cut it short on, but I've since found this one, and that goes sort of over the subframe rail coming out of the tank, if you know what I mean, and then going off to the rest of the car. Goes something like that, I can't remember, but that's got to be cleaned up and put on as well. As well as I'm doing stuff to the house. Look, there's a can openers, and that's for the auto stuff too. But there's also these, it's just a mess, isn't it? There for the steps which I didn't end up using. I started making up tools for removing the, I'm going to weld that on, removing the skin off the back door. I thought I could use this to sort of tap along and start undoing it, then jimmy up on that. But I'm going to copy what the other guy did with a pair of pincers that I was sort of pointed to. Some bloke taking the skin off. But there's these wiper blade arms or wiper arms from John Parnas, and I'm going to get a Bush kit. That's about $50 or so. And but these need to be plated. As I've already said, I always look at this stuff or notice it, so they all sort of just come off, and we can get new ones of those. I guess I should take a photo of it first, shouldn't I? Just a moment. I just sort of took it off and took photos. I'm just not, I was going to paint them and I just thought, you know what, nah, I'll just get newies. So that can all go off to get redone, and it's all sort of brittle, just sort of comes apart quite easily. I think they're, did I mention $50? Something like that. So I'll just take these off and send them out. This, I've got to do this and also the fuel filler, or fuel filler tube, yeah, to get plated. That was the one that was all rusty. Otherwise I would have probably painted it. But there's also some bolts, and I can't remember which ones they were or where they were. So I'll disassemble all this stuff and get that ready to be sent away. That one's not bad at all. I wonder if I can reuse these. I don't think I can. What's that for? That is... Oh, click something, I can't remember. So these will be painted, these bits. And I haven't got these screws, I've got to find more of those. I might have to buy those. But whatever the case, I'm not going to bore you too much with this stuff. This catch here doesn't fit, and I think it's off the ZH. I really do. So I'm going to bend it. I should really look at Andy's. Next time I see him, I'll have a look. But for now, I don't really know. Yeah, I might just bend that in a vise and just see what happens. So I bent this, which is so stupid because I wasn't thinking too well, was I? So that's a bugger up, but obviously the XC is different. This must be a ZH felling one, so we can't use that. What's those birds? That's dumb. I don't know how many of you do this sort of thing, but that happens to me a little bit. Right, so I've ordered a couple of parts. I've had these for a while. They're rear caliper overhaul kits and hoses. Are they front hoses? They're front hoses, I think. Yeah, they're the front hoses. There's two of those. These are the taillight mouldings I was given, which were black, and I just put the paint strip on when I was stripping the rear door. And they've come up beautifully. So a little bit more sort of, that one's been flattened a bit, but I can knock that out. And also I might soak them in water just in case there's any paint strips sort of stuck in there. I don't want water mixing with it once it rains and then having a car with stained or peeling paint. So that's really, really good. They were from Grant Wickham, I think, yeah. So I've got to take this to the plater. Obviously remember the rust in there. And I've got to take these wiper components to the plater. And there was a bunch of other stuff, a couple of other bolts, and you know what? I cannot remember which ones they were. So before I go, I've got to make sure I get all that sussed out. But I've ordered a gear boot so I can start modifying the console, and you know what? Okay. Oh yeah, the fuel filler, the hose kit there, and the gasket that goes behind there as well. I've ordered that. So I've got to order these bits, the little plastic clips, and then this can go on, that can go on, they can go on. I'll paint them up a bit, and press light, and we can paint up the wiper arms, but we can't put those on yet because it's been over the windscreen. But you know what? Don't ever do a car up like I'm doing it, because it just looks weird. And I'm putting bits on in the wrong order, but I'm doing it to create room, because I've sort of worked myself into a corner. So that was a really, a lot of information just on the bonnet, but that's what I've been doing. The rest of it's the front of the house. If you want to see what I've been doing at the front, I've just tacked this bit of footage on the end, but otherwise I'll say goodbye now. Is that what I'm supposed to say? Right, so I got to route this. I couldn't get the right profile. See, I think it's about 5.4 metres long, that piece, because we've got problems with the, you can see it's all rotted around the pickets. I'll zoom that back. Now I've spent a lot of time out here, which has taken time off the car. You can see those pickets there are knackered as well. The reason is I've had to build new stairs, and they all look fairly good. I had to replace one of the barge boards as well. But these were all rotted. I haven't finished this. I've got to touch up this paint here. It's sort of behind there. But also these ribs here need to be painted. These are new posts. I had to put stirrups in as well because they used to rot. There's painted edges there. So that has to be done too. So I've done those, and got to start doing this now. So everything was knackered on these. The rails, because the stairs now come out to the edge of the bricks where they didn't before. So I made these. This is that stuff I was showing you around the other side. It's all sort of routed. And I've got to do the bottom rail there as well. But we're getting there. Got to make the house look good now because it looks pretty bad. So last year I replaced all these boards. Not all of them, but quite a lot of them. And repainted this side. And replaced a whole stack of boards up there. And got a guy to paint upstairs. So we're just going around doing the house up a bit. So you can see how weird this looks. I might be able to cut that thing I bent, I'm not sure. I want to have a look at a proper one, and it's got all this sort of dust on it. You can see here, that all just wipes off though. And it is looking pretty good. It's just a weird way of putting it together, with a bonnet with no guards and no screen and a scuttle, and it's a really about face way of doing it, but that's the only way I can at the moment. I'm sort of putting bits on as I can, and trying my best to get it into a stage where I can get it drivable reasonably soon. So now that's all I've got for you. The bonnet took forever and a day to strip all that horrible paint up from underneath, and it's come up absolutely beautifully. And of course, we've got bonnet scoops in our XC, but no, I've got some scoops, but they've got the little pins broken. But anyway, look, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this. Sorry about the slow rate of pace, but that's about what I can do with everything I'm doing around the house and so forth. And hopefully I've got some more content for you sooner than later. So take care, look after yourselves, and drive safely. Cheers.